Hey guys, welcome back, and today we're going to be talking about finding inspiration. Okay, so you're ready to start getting creative, but you hit a wall. This is something that we get a lot of founders or entrepreneurs that come to us and say, hey guys, I have a new brand. I'm not sure how to get started. I'm not sure what creatives to make. I'm not sure what to film. I'm not sure what to shoot. And just everything about this is overwhelming. Even just finding photographers, videographers, editors, all that stuff is very, very overwhelming for a lot of people. But this is something where, for my own brands, for example, I have Chester, which is a luggage company, and we were selling travel luggage. And I've never sold travel luggage before. And you know, I kind of was overwhelmed by who to hire, how to hire them, how to take the photos, where to ship the products. All this stuff is overwhelming. But I want to give you guys in this video 5 ways that you can be thinking about for getting creative inspiration. Let's start off with some free tools that you can use. Like I said, these are free tools. There's some paid ones out there. And with any of these free tools, they usually have some sort of premium feature, but you don't need to use them to get inspiration. But let's go dive deep into some of these tools right now. So number 1, I really love this plugin. It's called Helium 10. It's a Chrome extension, and really what it does is it goes to Amazon product reviews and analyzes them all for you. So the way you should think about it, it's kind of like a crawler or a scraper. It'll basically download every Amazon review for the product that you have, and then it'll make sort of like word bubble of common keywords that the people have reviewed the product have said about it. And really the way you should be thinking about this, it's if you're selling like a bear, a stuffed bear, look for other stuffed bears in the same marketplace on Amazon and just use this tool to scrape the data for you. So let's talk about Helium 10. I want to show you guys an example. So let's say you make phone cases. First, what you want to do is find a competitor on Amazon with a ton of reviews and then click on that products page. And once you're on the products page, click on the Helium 10 Chrome extension icon. And really when you see this icon, it'll probably be in your top right, somewhere in your navigation bar. After this, you want to click on the review downloader and then hit extract. Stuff like this, I'm going to explain to you how you do it, but if you need more help, really going to the Helium 10's website for the FAQ could really help you guys out in case you have more questions. But if anything, feel free to email me and I'll sort of help you out or make another video potentially about how you could do it. So what you want to look at now in this Chrome extension is go to the following tab and click Analysis tab. And here, this is probably the magic of the plugin. This shows you the most common phrases that people use in reviews. Think about it. This Chrome extension just extracted all the reviews from one of your most popular competitors and now shows you the words that customers are using to describe the product. This is so powerful. This is such a great way to think about. And again, you can think about it as like a few things to think about this are, okay, how do you market this? Going back to our previous chapter of marketing angles. But 2, how do you make your product better? This is a great product research for you in case you want to make a different product or update your product to a version 2. So it's not just for ads, it's also for product development as well. For instance, here we could see for this phone brand case that people say easy to hold and feels great. And these are some of the most mentioned phrases in these reviews. So people apparently love how the fabric, the material, the way these are manufactured for this phone case. So yeah, I mean, honestly, if you gave me like 10 minutes to come up with angles for this phone case, I don't know if I would have thought, you know, it feels and easy to hold would be an angle. But this is why this plugin is so powerful and this is why you should be using it. It just gives you all these great ideas that, again, why you want to know what are inspirations for creatives or copy. So guys, this is the beauty of this technique. It's like holding a big focus group for free. This is such a huge resource and the tool makes it so easy to compile and compare. I would say use it. Use it for almost anytime you're launching a product, anytime you want to look at competitors, anytime you're thinking about developing a new product, look at the market, see what other companies are doing right and see what they're doing wrong. And then that's how you can make something better. It's not just for Facebook ads. This is for anything else too. So guys, now, for example, going back on this phone case example. So we've gotten these 2 phrases that you want to use. And now the question is, what do you do next? So let's sort of see how we would do this next. Okay, so well, for starters, you could take the feels great phrase and run static images with different headlines that hit on this angle, you know. And here's some examples that we would be thinking about. So number one, the best feeling phone case ever. Really great static image or headline that you could use. And this could be a headline in the creative or in the ad copy or in the body copy as well. Second one you could do is finally a case that actually feels great. I think this copy here is so powerful because I love the word finally, because it means that like, hey, like finally someone solved this problem for you. Finally someone solved this case that feels great. I love this two ad copies that we have here. Really for you guys, see how these headlines work versus headlines that hit on how easy it is to hold, and just check the data, check the stats, see what works for your brand. Maybe easy to hold or feels great isn't something that people resonate with, but you're only gonna find out by testing it and running a test on Facebook or any other platform on Instagram, such as Instagram. So go from there and check and see if it works. Number two. Okay, so number two is super simple, and you could do it at almost any time of the day. You can do it when you're sleeping, when you're about to go to bed, when you're about to wake up, you know, when you're in the bathroom, right? So you can do this tactic anytime. Really, just look at hashtags in your niche. This one takes about 5 seconds, and you can copy it from formats. You can screenshot inspirations for yourself. You can email them to yourself. This is what I do. If I see an ad I like, I'll usually send it to like a Facebook group that I have inside Instagram where I can save it. I'll take a screenshot. I'll share it to my team on Slack. At first, it's a little bit overwhelming because you don't really know what to do. But once you sort of start looking at stuff, you can kind of, you know, see what you like and don't like. And then again, with Instagram too, now they have like follow hashtag features. If you do that, you can sort of see these top trending images or videos that the hashtag has that you can show. So let's say your niche is keto. I have a product that's going to appeal to the keto crowd. For these hashtags, let's take a second, think about it, breathe a little bit, and let's brainstorm what keywords or hashtags we want to search for on Instagram. And this is great. This is a great starting point, but really this hashtag keto is too broad. The reason why I say this is because what you're going to find out on Instagram is like there's way too many posts on it. And really, we searched for this hashtag keto on Instagram about an hour ago, and this is what we saw. We saw 20 million posts, right? It's like way too much. Like everybody's hashtagging keto, and you honestly don't even know if this is like something very specific to keto. People sometimes tag these sort of really broad keywords with like anything they'll post just because they know that it'll get them, you know, in the Instagram algorithm. So, and again, for most of these pictures that we see, that we just recently saw, it was just food pictures. So it doesn't really help us with thinking about creative ideas or content ideas. So let's brainstorm a little bit and see what's another hashtag that we can search for. So now we thought about hashtag keto hacks. This is a lot better now, less results, which is great. We searched for this, and this has about 30,000 results. So this narrowed our results by a lot, and we're starting to get more graphical here and better images. And now we're seeing, again, when we're exploring this hashtag, we're also seeing more comments on things. That means people are now resonating with this content more. And if we're seeing that, that's even better. If you're looking at this on your phone, take a look at some of these images or graphics that you're seeing. You can honestly swipe one of these for an ad. And really, of course, when we say swipe for an ad, it means look at it, take inspiration, and then recreate it. You could do an ad that we see a lot now on the feed for this keto hacks is a simple split screen ad that's basically us versus them approach. And really, this is interesting because we've done this us versus them split screen ad for a lot of other brands, and they always convert really well for us. And again, these ads are super easy to execute, and they give you the results that you're looking for. The next way to find inspiration is going to be through the Facebook ad library. This sounds obvious, but here's a great way on how you should be using the Facebook ad library. And for you guys that are listening and watching and you don't know what the Facebook ad library is, it's basically Facebook's way of showing you every ad that a brand is currently running. And this is the keyword, they're currently running. You're not gonna see old ads, but again, this is something that you should be thinking about as an advantage, because the way you should think about it is, let's say today is January and you see them running ads, and then you're now in August and you see that the ads that they're running in January aren't running anymore. That can mean a few things. That means those ads didn't work, or the product just didn't work for that time of year. So this is how you should be thinking about it and how it usually kind of works in the ad library. But again, let's say you're in August and you see an ad running from January, that probably means that the ad's still working all these months. So you should definitely take that idea or ad that they made and make one for your campaigns as well. Okay guys, let's talk about creativity hack number 3. In this one here, we call ad library surveillance. Follow the same few brands closely for a few months, and then you'll get an idea of the tests that they're doing. This strategy works really well if you are just taking notes internally for your own brand, or just keeping watch somehow with some sort of tool, such as Notion, for example, and taking screenshots. Really what you want to be doing here is, if you see a brand testing a bunch of styles in October, and a few months later it's December, and they're only using one of those styles, then that tells you that one of the remaining styles was probably the winner of their tests. And it's likely that it performed the best. So this is a concept that you want to be thinking about for anything in general. And this doesn't apply for just for Facebook ads, but it can apply for other things as well. But this concept for at least looking at the ad library is how you should also be thinking about testing, because once you find a creative that wins, that is winning, you're probably going to keep running it for a few months. And that's how this strategy and tactic works. So let's take a look at this brand that we love studying. It's called Chambermaid. So it's crazy to see how many ads that they run at a time. Right now, at the time of this recording, they're doing over 570 ads. So what I really like about this brand is they're doing a lot of creative testing. They're doing a lot of image ads, a lot of video ads. But one thing they're doing really well is they're using a lot of the angles that we described in the marketing angles chapter. So that's something that you guys should be thinking about. And this is why we follow this brand closely, because you could see that they're constantly testing angles, creatives, and hooks that are working well for their customers and for their brand as well. So for Chambermaid, I love these middle of the funnel ads that they basically just switch out the copy to see what their customers respond to. Anyways, there's a lot of good stuff in here. They're running some graphics along with lifestyle images and lifestyle photos. They use lots of different hooks in these ads. That's something, like I said, that's something that you should be thinking about Chambermaid. You're seeing how many hooks, how many angles they're using, and a lot of the angles and hooks that they're using go back to what we mentioned in the marketing angles chapter. So guys, here's creativity hack number 4, up and coming brands. So another way for you to get creative inspiration and get an idea of what a brand is doing successfully is to choose some of the fastest growing brands, because these brands are more likely to have strong direct response advertising than some big corporate brands. One way to be thinking about this is there's always these big brands such as Adidas, Nike. If you think about these brands, they're not really focused on DR anymore. They're really focusing on branding. Whereas a company that is bootstrapped, that hasn't raised funding, but probably is more direct response because they know that they need to make money in order to continue to keep the business alive. So another way to be thinking about finding some up and coming brands is to use Google. Google.com, the best search engine out there, is just to Google, up and coming skincare brands, or Google skincare brands. You'll see that these companies are probably advertising on Google Shopping, and now you can click on to these little ads that Google has and see what they're doing. For example, we just recently searched up and coming skincare brands, and we found this company called Good Molecules. Boom, we found a brand. Let's go check out their Facebook ad library, like we mentioned before, and see what they're doing. Oh, okay, cool. Looks like they're doing tons of ads here. It looks like they're running UGC content. It looks like they're running a few testimonials. Oh, wow. See, you can find out a bunch of stuff that these companies are doing just by going to their Facebook ad library. So creativity hack number 5, find a lookalike audience brands. And really, this name comes from with what Facebook is doing when you're doing lookalike audiences for purchases. You're basically finding other brands that are in the same space or selling the same age range as your brand. And again, look for some of the fastest growing brands in other niches, but have the same target audience. That's the key here. Look for these type of brands. The brand can be completely different industry, but if they target the same age range, age group, person, persona, that can give you some sort of insight that you can use for your ads and your creatives. So for example, if you're selling face masks to a younger woman demographic, maybe check out an apparel company that also targets young women. See how they communicate to them. See what language they're using. See what type of models they're using. See how they're positioning offers. See how they're positioning bundles. See pricing. There's so much for you to get inspiration from, not just ad-wise, but also for just your product-wise. For example, for my Montum brand, we sell a lot to older demographics. So really a lot of people buying our products on Facebook are 60 plus. And we saw that for this sort of 60 plus market, which a lot of people buy supplements, which is another sort of, niche that sells supplements or products or capsules, powders to people in the 50 plus market. So we studied to see what they were doing to get these older consumers to buy. And what we saw was that they were using some sort of long form sales copy. And then what we did was we took that idea of long form sales copy and made a landing page that was essentially an advertorial or long sales copy and put our product on there. And now for our ads on Facebook, we're only running ads this way. And we saw that this method or way of running ads or landing pages works really well for the 50 plus age group. And now that's how we're doing it. So this is an example of where you can sort of take inspiration from another niche and see what they're doing and then apply it to your products or services. So really, if you think about it, with these 5 hacks that we gave you, you can get inspiration from anywhere. It's just really thinking about how you want to use them for your brand. But a key thing for any of these hacks is to just write them down and save them somewhere. That way you can always go back and use them, because you guys probably have this thing where you see something and then you're just like, oh, I'll remember it. And you essentially just forget. So I always tell people, when you have an inspiration or an idea, just save it somewhere. And a good example is this. Oftentimes I'll point out to a designer an ad that I like that I see on Facebook that another brand is running. And I'll just say, hey, this looks really cool. Like, can we just make this for this brand we're working with? Because I think it'll apply to them. And it really just, the process for us here is just saving it, downloading it, taking a screenshot, putting it into Slack, and then saying, hey, just plug and play these images with this video, and then plug and play this copy with our copy, and then we'll test it. And that's pretty much how we think about it. So even if you're a small brand, really, I always tell people, look for those who are your direct competitors. I think a lot of brands sometimes get caught up in this phase of, oh, I don't have any competitors, I don't have any competition. I think that's bad, because then you won't even know if your product's gonna sell. So I always say, like, it's always great to go to a market where you have competitors, because now you can see what they're doing right, you can see what they're doing wrong, and now you can make ads and creatives and copy to compete with them. So there are many, many ways to find this. For example, one tool that we use here is called similarweb.com. It's free, but also paid to get a lot of data. But this is where you can input your website, and it'll show you other websites that are also in this sort of space or sector that you can use. And another great thing about this tool too is that it'll show you like keywords that people are using to find, but also SimilarWeb is nice because it'll show you the traffic source that people are using to drive traffic to their website. So sometimes what we see is, let's say for example, someone goes to, I don't know, like Nike.com, we see that they have a lot of direct traffic. That means they're really big into branding. Whereas if we go to like a D2C brand, we see that they have a lot of Facebook traffic. So that means they're probably driving a lot of Facebook ads. So that's how you could use this too, to see how you can diversify your traffic as well. So SimilarWeb gives you all this data, but again, you could use it as a way to find similar competitors that are doing direct response. So if you find a brand and you go to the ad library and you see a trend that they're doing that's working really well, if you think about it, this trend or idea or concept can save you thousands of dollars of creative testing because they're doing it for you. And now you can essentially just quote unquote steal, borrow, take inspiration from, and run it for your brand. And now you can make tons and tons of money versus trying to reinvent the wheel. And that's why using the Facebook ad library is so important, because there are these other brands that are doing the testing for you. You just need to go in there and study them. So now that you sort of see all the ways to get inspiration from, this is something that here we at Voy do, and it's something that we have down to a science. We do all the research for you, and we come out with an action plan of copy, creatives, and how we're gonna structure your campaigns all in a week of working with us. From there, we go into the execution phase, which is what we'll be talking about in the next video. And again, this is about creating original content, and with the formula that we use here at Voy that helps you stand out and sell more than your competitors. You can never know what's gonna go viral. And this is the magical pill that everybody's looking to get for their videos, their creatives, their brand. But once you hit reality, it's great. But for many brands out there, that's almost impossible. For example, the Oatly ad, who would have thought that this ad would have gone viral during the Super Bowl? The team maybe could have predicted it, but it's not something that was guaranteed. The truth is, there's no secret formula, but there is a formula to follow that makes sense, just from a storytelling perspective. And think about this from Harry Potter. You start with wizards, you're hooked. You introduce Voldemort, the problem. You find out mind-blowing ways to miraculously kill Voldemort, the solution. Guys, introducing Ada, AIDA.